You can't deny that everything I've said is the truth.
Your version of the truth. I did not abandon my son. I did not turn my back.
I will have order in this courtroom.
He is twisting the truth till it's coming out live.
Your Honor, let me talk to my client for a minute.
Why did you put up with that garbage?
Put a lid on it, Max.
Put a lid on him.
Look, he's trying to rile you, and you're playing right into his hands. Now sit down and shut up, or you can say goodbye to Al for good.
Hello, there you two are.
Hello.
We were wondering if you'd make it back from Greece in time to celebrate with us.
Wouldn't have missed it for the world, Michael.
The hotel looks fabulous.
Oh, well, that's good to hear. Listen, Alicia is in the Grand Ballroom. Why don't you go tell her? She'd love to hear that. Good to see you. How are you doing? You're supposed to be on the job.
Michael, will you relax?
Have you roped off that elevator bank and shut down the power?
There's an out-of-order sign up. Relax. There's plenty of time. The party hasn't started yet.
What do you think you're talking to, you idiot? Look around. Guests are beginning to arrive. We could have a major disaster on our hands. Now, you get over there and you shut down that power now.
I can't give you anything but love, baby. That's the only thing I've plenty of, baby. Dream a while, you're just fine. Happiness and I guess all those things you always find for. Gee, I'd like to see you looking swell, baby. Diamond bracelets will what doesn't sell.
Rogers, it's Clint. Roger, you don't know what you're doing. You don't know what you're doing, Roger. You can't get back to Eterna, and your father is dead.
No, he's waiting for me.
He's dead.
The book, see? I have to find the book. It'll cure me. I'll live forever. And you can't stop me. No one can stop me.
No!
You don't want to hurt anyone, Dad, and nobody wants to hurt you. Now put the rock down.
Victoria, at least you should understand. Why don't you want me to find the book? Why don't you want me to be cured?
No, I'm Megan, Dad, not Viki. I'm your daughter, and you have another daughter named Sarah. Remember? Please, let me help you.
Megan. Clint. Where are we?
Well, Llantano Mountain. Apparently you started hallucinating in a hospital, Roger, and you insisted on coming up here. When Larry tried to stop you, you knocked him out.
Oh, no. Did I hurt him?
Well, he had a couple stitches, but he's going to be all right.
You don't remember it?
No. What else happened?
Well, why don't we talk that over when we go back to the hospital?
I didn't try and hurt you, did I?
Well, you thought I was trying to keep you from returning to Eterna.
Is that what brought me up here?
No, you were looking for some book. You said it had a cure in it that could cure you. It could make you live forever or something.
You must have been totally mad.
You don't remember anything about a book, Dad, or a cure?
I have no idea what I was raving about.
Roger, about Viki, I don't know where she is, and I thought that, you know, when you took off, that maybe you tried to find her, that maybe you had brought her up here with you.
Clint, Vicky's in Houston.
Houston?
Yes. Right after I talked to her, I went to the hospital and found out Dad was gone. She was on the way to the airport. She went to go see some doctor who's a specialist in rare toxins. Come on, Dad, we've got to get you back to the hospital.
How'd you know where to find me?
Larry told me that you mentioned something about Eterna, and I took a wild guess that you were here.
My apologies to the court, Your Honor.
Mr. Russell, I will not tolerate another outburst. If your client can't control himself, I'll have him barred from the courtroom.
I understand, Your Honor. It won't happen again.
Mr. Lovelace, you may continue your questioning.
I have no further questions, Your Honor. Mr. Holden's shocking behavior illustrates his contempt not only for this court, but for society in general.
Objection, Your Honor.
Sustained.
One more point, Your Honor, quickly made. A child learns from his parents through example. Mr. Holden has clearly proven he's an unfit example for his son.
Sustained. Please confine your remarks to the facts.
Your Honor, I would like to offer an apology for my actions.
Accepted. Thank you, Mr. Holden.
I would also like to say, and please forgive me if I'm being presumptuous, that if you were a father fighting for your son and the opposing lawyer were feeding the judge with a line of bull, you would be upset too, wouldn't you?
Objection, Your Honor.
The fact of the matter is, Mr. Lovelace, you were the one being irresponsible here.
Your Honor.
If I am supposed to tell the whole truth, why shouldn't you have to?
Mr. Holden, I suggest you allow your attorney to make the objections.
Your Honor, the reason we are here is to decide custody of my son. All I want to do is have the chance to tell my side of the story so that you can make a fair judgment. Is that too much to ask?
Your Honor, this is completely inappropriate.
I'll decide what's appropriate, Mr. Lovelace. You just sit down and be quiet and let me hear what Mr. Holden has to say.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Lovelace claims that I deserted Gabrielle in Argentina. It is not true. She never told me she was pregnant. If she had, I would have stayed, and I would have helped her. And I would have assumed my responsibility with the baby.
When did you learn she was carrying your child?
Not until she came to Llanview, long after he was born.
Did you offer to marry her?
No. I thought about it, but I wouldn't do that to my son. I didn't want him growing up in a household where there was no love between the parents. I've seen what that can do to a child, and it's terrible. They blame themselves for all the tension and all the fighting. I couldn't do that to Al.
Did you assume responsibility for him in other ways? Did you offer financial aid, visit him frequently, spend time with him?
As much as I could manage.
Oh, you showed up about once a month whenever it suited you.
Miss Medina.
No! You're accusing my lawyer of bending the truth, and that is exactly what you were doing. You've been so busy with your hotel and your women that Al was at the bottom of your priority list. That's why you were able to pack up and go across the country without any guilt whatsoever.
Miss Medina!
I did not abandon my son. I sold my shares in the TV station and moved to Texas because I was devastated by my brother's death. And I could not come to terms with that in Llanview. I thought maybe by getting back to my roots, maybe by fulfilling my brother's dream of making the family ranch a success, that I could maybe somehow heal my pain. And it would also be a legacy to my son from me and from my brother. I never wanted to leave him. Shauna, you know how kids are. They respond to hurt and to depression and all the emotions I was feeling because of my brother's death. I thought my staying here would be worse for Al than my leaving. I explained that to Gabrielle. I did, and I told her I would stay in touch, that I would come back, or that I would send for him once I was able to pull myself together. And when I found out she was missing, I had Al brought to me in Texas. And I made a home for him. And we got to know each other. And he learned to trust me, and to depend on me, and to love me. And my biggest regret is that I haven't been part of his life from the very beginning. It's not all my fault, but some of it is. I made mistakes, I'll admit that. But I have learned from them. I have grown, and I have changed. I am anything but perfect, I'm not saying that. But I love my son more than anything in this world. And I will do whatever it takes to provide him with the stability and the direction he needs to grow into a kind and caring man.
I think it looks just stunning. I bet he paid for it with gold bars.
Melinda, careful. We're here at Michael's invitation. Now, let's not try to antagonize this guy.
It's such a waste of time anyway, especially with all his restrictions.
Why don't you just put on that cheery view on Llanview smile and just be nice to everybody, okay? Maybe you ought to start with the ballroom, huh?
Sounds like a good idea. Right this way, Red.
Melinda.
Is that better?
That's great. You want to get over to the hospital to see your dad?
That's okay. I just called the hospital, and they said Dad's resting, so I figured the longer I postpone my visit, the more he can rest.
Okay. I just want to stay here long enough to make sure that Melinda sticks to the ground rules that Michael laid out for all the PR people, and then we'll just get out of here. We'll go to the hospital.
Okay.
Speaking of hospitals.
What is this?
Open it up.
It's for me?
Happy anniversary.
What do you mean?
4 months ago to the day. First time we ever kissed. Try it on. Here, let me help you.
You are the sweetest man.
Sweetest? What happened to the handsomest, sexiest?
You are the sweetest, sexiest, most handsome man. I just feel badly that I didn't get something for you now.
The only thing I want from you is something money can't buy.
Diamond bracelets for what doesn't sell, baby. Good luck. Help! Somebody! Help me!
Thank you for allowing me to have my say, Your Honor.
You may step down. We'll take a 5-minute recess.
I think I blew it, don't you?
You took one hell of a risk, but it paid off. Max, you were terrific.
I wasn't grandstanding him, John. I just wanted him to hear the truth.
Well, he heard your message loud and clear, buddy.
How could you let him go on with that sob story? The judge was nearly in tears.
Gabrielle, the judge knows a performance when he sees one. Max could sit up there and weep for the remainder of the afternoon. The fact is he's been exposed as unruly, hot-tempered, and emotionally unstable. His declarations of love for Al are a case of too little, too late.
But he scored points. That was clear when he mentioned Steve's death.
Max and Steve weren't even on speaking terms when Steve was killed. I can't wait to hear him justify his refusal to be his brother's best man shortly before he died.
No, I don't want Steve's name mentioned anymore in this courtroom.
What? Max's relationship with his brother is a gold mine for us. Of course I'll use it.
I said forget it. Please. I don't want to dredge up sad memories about Steve, all right?
We are fighting for your son. I have to use every weapon at my
Then find
disposal.
another weapon, all right? Ask him how much time he spent with Al before he went to Texas. Ask him why he wants custody now instead of before. And please ask him why he's going to raise my son in a bar down on the waterfront. And please don't forget to question him about all the women he's been around with. Surely that can't be good for a child to be brought up around. There are many things you can nail him on.
Is there something you're not telling me about Max's relationship with Steve? Something that could be used against you?
All rise. Please be seated.
Mr. Lovelace, will you please call the respondent?
Yes, Your Honor. I call Gabrielle Medina.
Dad, are you feeling better?
I'm warmer, at least. I told Larry if he'd rather get off my case, I'd understand.
Would you convince your father? I certainly don't blame him for what happened. I just wish you had found the antidote.
Oh, you will, and soon. We're all going to be laughing about this.
We're going to tell your grandchildren, Dad, how you beamed your doctor.
Sweetheart, I'm sorry for what... Oh, no. Oh.
Headache?
Oh, yes.
All right, let's get him inside. I'll have him sedated right now.
God, if he starts hallucinating again.
Well, Larry thinks the sedation will stop hallucinations.
Well, it didn't work before.
Well, Larry didn't have a lot of time before. Your father was already in Never Never Land before he could take any action. I had no idea he was this bad.
Well, neither did I until today. Thank you for going up onto the mountain.
Well, I'm glad I figured out where he was heading. Not if I could just figure out my wife as easily.
Well, she was going to call you from the airport to tell you about her trip. You must have missed her call when you went up to the mountain.
Did she say when she'd be coming home?
Yeah, tonight.
Tonight. Why couldn't she have left tomorrow? I mean, why did you have to just up and leave this afternoon?
Because Viki couldn't wait, Clint. My father doesn't have very much time. The poison in his system is killing him. If they don't find an antidote soon, he doesn't have that much longer to live.
Why don't you both make your way into the ballroom? That's where the food is. Okay. Although you may have to battle through the crowd to get to it.
Thank you.
Excuse me.
Nice.
Sounds kind of like Mardi Gras. I like that.
I love Mardi Gras. Come on, I'll show you how to cut right to the front of the line, not even offend a soul.
No, I actually have something else I have to take care of. I'll catch you later.
Okay. What do you want me to get you?
A little bit of everything.
Michael, how you doing? You okay?
Pardon?
Well, you look a little pale. You got the flu or something?
No, there was a minor accident.
Really? What happened?
Delilah was in a roped-off area, and she was slightly injured.
Where is she?
She's on her way to the hospital.
Well, what's wrong with her?
Nothing serious. I just sent her as a precaution. She's a bit shaken up and thought she might have injured a rib.
Well, what the hell's going on here? I didn't see any roped-off areas when I came.
It's over. There's no serious problem.
Where'd the accident take place?
In an elevator, and I have a man there now to make sure that no one else is as careless as Delilah.
Haven't the elevators been inspected? Every square inch of this place should be looked at.
Everything has been inspected, but I'm going to be going over everything again myself tomorrow. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have guests.
Hi. No, hey, you don't have to stay and babysit, really. I'll be a good girl. I promise I'm having fun.
Want me to add to your fun? How'd you like to do a little sleuthing?
Did I hear you correctly?
Somebody had an accident in one of the elevators.
On opening day?
Yeah, kind of makes you wonder if there are any other problems that somebody forgot to take care of.
Did you pose this question to His Highness?
No. You think he's going to give me a straight answer?
Nope. But I'll find the problems if they exist. Maybe we'll have something for the 10 o'clock news.
Okay, if there's a story, then broadcast it. If there's not, you forget it, okay?
Larry said the poison was serious. He didn't say it was lethal.
I know. He was covering as a favor to my father. If anyone else that had been in Eterna was poisoned, of course he would have told him the truth, but luckily nobody else was affected.
You've known this all along?
No, I just found out today.
And you told Viki?
Actually, no, she told me.
Oh, really?
Yes.
How long has Viki known?
I don't know. She told my father that she wouldn't say anything to anyone, but she couldn't keep her promise. She broke down. She felt that Sarah and I should know the truth, that we should spend as much time with my father as possible.
Megan, I'm very sorry.
Life stinks, doesn't it? I mean, he manages to get through that hell in Eterna, and for what? So he can come back up here and die slowly of poison?
Look, Megan.
No, I know. I can't give up. Vicky's right. She refuses to believe that we're going to lose him.
Well, let's hope and pray that the doctor in Houston can help him.
Yeah. And if he can't, I know that she'll probably fly off to find some other doctor.
Yes, I'm sure she will.
You know, everyone's always telling me what a wonderful woman she is. And I've been so determined to find fault in her, to push her away. Well, I'm going to be grateful to her no matter what happens.
You can go ahead and cry if you want to.
No, I can't. I have to be strong because I have to tell my sister and I have to show my father that he can count on us. How is he?
He's sedated, but if you want to go see him.
Tina Lord Roberts convinced you to give her your son to raise with her husband, whom you believed to be Max Holden.
Yes. I felt it was the right thing to do for my son at the time.
You sacrificed your happiness for your child.
Yes.
Was there any agreement at that time about not seeing your son, not interfering in his life?
Yes, there was. But then I discovered I couldn't go along with a decision that was made when I was exhausted and so worn out from the delivery of the baby. I then realized I had to come to Llanview for my son.
And when you got to Llanview, you realized that Tina was not married to Mr. Holden, but to Cord Roberts, and that she had told Mr. Roberts that the baby was theirs.
That's right. On top of everything else, Tina had deceived me, and I told her that the deal was off and I wanted my son back.
What was Mr. Holden's reaction when he found out that this was his child?
He was furious.
Do you blame him?
No. No, I thought he'd be angry, but I also thought that once he got over the shock, he'd understand that I did what I thought was best for our son at the time. I'd hoped that he would share in the responsibilities.
And did he?
No.
So you were determined to raise your son as a single parent?
And I did. Until I met Steve and we married, giving Al a home and security that Max refused to provide.
You married Steve Holden, Max's brother?
Yes. But after Steve died, Al and I were on our own again. And I worked day and night to provide for him. I did everything in my power to assure his happiness.
Until Eterna.
Eterna was a devastating experience. Day after day, we didn't know if we were going to live or die. We would fight with each other to find a way out, to be blocked at every corner. But I kept up my strength and my determination to survive because of my son.
And when you finally managed to escape death, your first consideration was for your son?
Of course. When I found out that Max had sent for Al in Texas, I was on the very next flight. And when I got there, Al was very pleased to see me.
Gabrielle, why did you kidnap Al? Why not simply return to Llanview and file for custody?
I already had custody. I raised him. I fed him. I clothed him. I looked after him. I loved him from the day he was born without any help from Max. If there had been a reliable person to look after Al when I was in Eterna, Max wouldn't have given him a second thought. Al and I have a bond between us that has been there since the day he was conceived. That grew stronger and stronger as the months went by when I held him in my body. It only got even more stronger through the pain and the joy of giving birth. He is my son, and he belongs with me.
No more questions, Your Honor. May I request a few moments before cross-examination?
Mr. Russell?
Would you like a little more time to compose yourself?
No, thank you, I'm fine.
Very well, then. Why do you suppose that Tina Lord Roberts lied to you after your son was born?
She was desperate to reconcile with her husband, Cord.
So she duped you into sacrificing your own happiness for the happiness of your child.
Yes, but I was in a terrible state after delivery. We were in the jungle, there was no medical help, and I was terrified. I wasn't thinking straight.
And Tina took advantage of your weakened condition for her own selfish purposes.
Yes, she did.
Well, what was your condition when you decided to give your baby up to that couple in Brazil? Long before you hid out in the jungle to have your baby secretly. You decided to give up your baby before he was even born, before Tina even met you. The fact is, if it wasn't for fate's intervention, placing Tina in the jungle, your baby would still be in Brazil, and Max wouldn't even know that he was a father. Isn't that right, Miss Medina?
Overruled. Answer the question.
I
had no choice. I was being ostracized by my family. I couldn't bring back an illegitimate child.
So you gave up your baby? You abandoned him for your own reputation?
I did what I felt was best for my child's welfare. I've never put my needs in front of my child.
Yes, you were so concerned about Al's welfare that you were willing to marry a man that you were not in love with, just to give him a father, just to give him a safe and secure family environment.
I cared for Steve deeply, and I grew to love him.
Oh, indeed, you did grow to love him. You loved him so much that you tried to murder him.
That's a lie. I never tried to murder Steve.
You tried to smother him with a pillow while he was in a coma.
That's not exactly
You couldn't stand the fact of being saddled to a comatose husband the rest of your life, so you decided to take matters into your own hand and end Steve's pain.
Objection! No, I loved Steve, no matter what Max wants to believe.
You loved him so much that you just couldn't bear the thought of him suffering, huh? Is that your excuse? Is that your defense for murder?
Your Honor, I...
No, you manipulated, you schemed, and you endangered lives. All because you only care about anybody but yourself. Sad fact is, Miss Medina, you are not fit to raise a puppy, much less a child.
Mr. Russell, if you make one more statement, I'll hold you in contempt of court.
I intend to sue you for slander. How dare you make these
Sit down, Mr. Lovelace.
My client. I demand a full retraction and an apology.
I said sit down, or I'll hold you both in contempt of court.
Please, Your Honor, please let me tell you my side.
You'll have your chance, Miss Medina. But first, I have a few questions for counsel. Can you prove your allegation that Miss Medina tried to kill her husband?
He most certainly cannot.
Your Honor, I intend to produce witnesses who will testify that Steve remembered Gabrielle trying to smother him.
Oh, come on, he was having a nightmare. That's what he thinks he saw.
There is no point in continuing this. We'll recess until tomorrow morning, at which time I will expect and demand a calm and orderly presentation of facts from counsel, as well as petitioner and respondent. And if anyone feels that he or she cannot comply with that demand, then don't bother coming to court.
Surprised the hell out of me, John. I had no idea you were going to bring up that business about Steve.
Yeah, well, I wasn't. Gabrielle opened the door. I decided to go through it. I just hope to hell I didn't go too far.
It's going to work against us?
I don't think so. I mean, I made my point, and well, I'm not going to let the judge forget it when we reconvene.
Well, I should have known they'd play dirty.
Was it a desperate attempt to discredit you? Or was John telling the truth?
And whose side are you on?
Yours, lady. But I can't hope to defend you unless you're totally honest with me. Now, I have to know everything about your relationship with Steve from the beginning.
Well, I can't explain it to you now, because I need some fresh air.
I just called the hospital again.
And?
Oh, Delilah's in the emergency room being examined, but I can't get any specifics.
Well, do you think we should go over there?
No, I left a message for Larry Wallach. Let's wait and see what he says.
Well, I just called the hospital. My father's had another hallucination.
Well, Larry said to expect that.
I know, but he left the hospital and went up to Llantano Mountain.
Oh, my God.
They got him back to the hospital, but look, his condition is worse, and I've got to get over there.
Okay, let's go. Let's go.
Viki.
No, it's me, Dad. Hi. You can go back to sleep if you want. I don't mind.
You don't need to hang around here. You have a busy life.
No, I want to.
Look, there's no need to worry about me. Once I get over the effects of this drug that Larry gave me, I'll be fine.
What drug?
I don't know the name of it. It had a terrible effect on me. That was the reason for my irrational behavior earlier.
Dad, I know everything. You don't have to pretend anymore.
What?
Viki told me the truth about the poison.
I didn't want you to know right now.
I know. She told me how you wanted to protect us. And I love you for that. But We have to trust each other right now. You need me. You have to let me help you. Remember when I was a little girl and I pirouetted head first into that coffee table?
I've never seen so much blood in my life.
Yeah, me neither. But you were great. I thought I was gonna die, and you just grabbed me and wrapped me up. Remember how you held me as Mom drove us to the hospital? You talked up a storm. You kept making jokes and telling riddles. I was concentrating so hard on what you were saying that I didn't even think about my cut anymore. By the time we got to the hospital, I was laughing. Dad, it's my turn to take care of you. Sweet dreams.
Just how much money am I supposed to inherit?
Well, I can't keep my story straight, but it's somewhere between $1 and $200 million.
Ooh, it's fun. Hi. Nice to see everyone's having such a good time. Hey, John.
Counselor, what are you doing here? I thought you were supposed to be out snatching babies from their mothers. Why don't we go find the shrimp tray, Jack?
Jack, would you mind finding the shrimp tray by yourself? I'd like to have a word with Audrey. Audrey?
Sure, why not?
John?
On second thought, I think let go of me.
No, not till you tell me what the hell's the matter.
I was having a really good time, and then you showed up. That's what's the matter.
Come on, Audrey, you turned on me when I told you I was representing Max. Now, what are you so angry about?
I don't want to talk about it. Okay?
That's what, listen to me. Look, that's fine. If you want to cross me off of your list, then that's just fine, but you owe me the decency of an explanation. Now, what do Max and Gabrielle have to do with all of this?
Hey, I just think that you're on the wrong side of the custody case, that's all.
But why is it such an emotional issue with you? I didn't know that you cared that much about kids.
I cared about one.
What? What do you say?
My son. I had him when I was 16. And, I didn't have anybody to turn to. I didn't have any money. And a social worker talked me into giving him up for adoption. She said that he would go to a fine family who would love him and give him a good home and an education. You know, I did see him once. It was right after he was born, and then they took him away.
Audrey, I'm sorry.
You know, everybody said that they knew what was best for him, and I was so young, and all I knew was that I loved him, and I wanted him to have the kind of chance that I didn't think I was ever going to be able to give him. Boy, if I'd known then what I know. If I could just do it all over again, I think I better go find Jack.
Is Megan in with Dad?
No, she left right after he went to sleep.
Are these hallucinations just going to keep getting worse?
Well, the sedation seems to be controlling them.
And what about the antidote?
We're still working on that, Sarah.
Larry, why does he keep getting worse? I mean, why isn't this poison leaving his system quicker?
Sarah, why don't you go in and see your father? You can talk to Larry later.
Okay.
I'll be here. Clint, you don't have to stick around if you don't want to.
No, I'm fine.
Yeah, but you've been here all afternoon.
I know.
You know, Roger's been in some sticky situations before. Sarah's told me about some of his adventures. You know the way he handled Eterna.
Well, he had some control in Eterna. Here...
What?
Roger's dying, Bo.
He's not gonna die. I mean, he's in bad shape right now, but he's gonna be okay as soon as they get that poison out of him.
That's just it. They can't do anything for him until they get an antidote. And they're losing hope of finding one.
Are you sure?
Yes, I'm afraid so.
Sarah doesn't even have a clue about any of this.
Megan plans on telling her tonight.
We were all just going along thinking that everything was gonna be just fine.
Yes, everyone except Roger and Viki.
Wait, Viki knows?
Yeah, Viki knows. I wish she had told me. But hell, she didn't even let me know she was flying up to Houston.
What's she doing in Houston?
She's talking to a toxin expert. You know, I knew this was going to happen. I saw it coming.
What?
Viki taking full responsibility for Roger. I mean, why can't she let me shoulder some of the burden? Why does she keep me on the outside, looking in like I was some stranger?
Maybe she thinks you've been acting like a stranger lately.
What the hell do you mean by that?
Clint, Viki and Roger share a past. They were trapped down in Eterna. They damn near died down there. Plus, they have a daughter. That's a fact. Rather than accept that, you have been pulling back, and then it makes you feel like you're on the outside. But you and Viki, you have a present. You have the boys. You have Jessica. So instead of putting her on the defensive about Roger, why don't you take some action? Show her and Roger and the girls all the love and the support that they need right now. Sometimes even the smartest of us miss the obvious.
Thanks, Bo.
Hi.
Hi. Ooh. What are you doing here?
I came to check on you. Is the judge making his decision?
No, he's recessed for the day.
So, how's it going?
It's a bloody mess. I'm sorry, I really don't want to talk about it.
I wish I just had a magic formula to make everything easier.
I do too. How was your talk with Viki?
Upsetting, but informative. I had a big shock when I went to the hospital. My father started hallucinating again, and he knocked Larry out and then ran off.
Well, should we look for him?
No, it's okay. I found him. Actually, Clint found him. He was up on Llantano Mountain trying to dig his way into Eterna's. He was ranting and raving about some book, he said, that could cure him. And this book is supposedly in Eterna somewhere. I don't know, he was so out of it that he almost killed Clint when Clint tried to stop him.
Where is he now?
Well, he finally calmed down and we got him back to the hospital.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry I wasn't there for you.
Oh, it's okay. You couldn't have done anything. No one can do anything right now.
Look at this way. Your father is a very strong man. And Larry and all the other doctors are working hard to pull him through.
Yes, but if they don't find an antidote, Max, that poison is killing him. My father is living on borrowed time.
Pass a coffee cart. Coming back from the ER. I thought you might want some.
Thanks. What'd you find out about Delilah?
She was treated and released. I missed her by about 10 minutes.
What's wrong with her?
Cracked rib. She's lucky. How's your dad doing?
He's asleep. He's resting comfortably, as they say. He looks awful.
Did he know that you were in there?
Yeah, he opened his eyes for a minute. He smiled and said he was going to be fine as soon as he got a night's rest. That's what he's been saying ever since he got in here. Where's Larry?
In his office. Why?
I don't really think I'm being told everything about my dad's condition. I want to find it.
Oh, Sarah.
Look, I know you think I'm being paranoid, but I have every right to know what's going on.
I'm not going to say that. You don't know everything that's going on. And I think you've got a right to know the truth.
You know, when I was young, I used to lie awake at night, I was so afraid that my parents would die before me. I worked myself up into such a tizzy that I used to break out into a cold sweat.
I think that's a fear all kids experience.
Yeah, but it's not such a ridiculous thought now, is it, Max? It could actually happen. And I feel so helpless. I'm so afraid that he's gonna die.
After being smart enough to bring this out of Eterna, I'm ashamed of myself for not being smart enough to read it sooner. Even more ashamed of not realizing it might have the answers the doctors are so desperately searching for. Oh, Roger, it looks like your life is in my hands. And mine may be in yours. This may turn out to be more valuable than all the gold in Eterna.